If you think your resume is the reason you're not getting hired, I need you to hear this. I have seen resumes that I maybe rank 7 out of 10 or even 8 out of 10 land offers. I've also seen resumes that are 10 out of 10 not get offers, right? The person who got the offer, like, please don't assume their resume was just better than yours and maybe you then need to go and tighten it up. Let's talk for a minute. And just in case we haven't met, I'm Christina. I bring my 15 years of talent acquisition experience to this platform. And yes, let's talk about why your resume might not actually be the problem. Listen, I've seen where someone with an okay, not horrible resume ends up with an offer because they knew someone who could speak to their skills and experience. Of course, that obviously went far beyond resume writing. So maybe they didn't invest in a resume writer. I'm not saying you don't need a revised resume. I haven't seen yours. But what I am saying is that there are times when folks get stuck in this I need to update my resume for the 15th time to get in front of someone. I've also seen the person with a 10 out of 10 resume, and you're like, wow, this looks amazing. But we already have someone. And we already have someone sometimes, well, timing has a lot to do with it, but also the person networked their way into the opportunity. Listen, networking changes visibility in a crowded market. Networking changes visibility in a crowded market, and visibility increases your probability of landing an opportunity. That is it. That is what I want you to go and kind of marinate on for a second. Yes, your resume matters to a certain extent. Yes, your resume matters to a certain extent. And let me be clear about the perspective. So the perspective I'm sharing is not just based on the 15 years of recruitment, corporate recruitment experience I bring. Uh, this is also as someone who landed an opportunity without networking their way. And as a matter of fact, I've landed multiple opportunities without having someone vouch for me or speak on my behalf, right? I've also landed opportunities through networking. Um, yes, having a decent, a solid, a good, um, a comprehensive, and aligned, that's the word I was looking for, resume actually will position you for success. But in this market, I need you to think beyond the resume. So, as we shift with that thinking beyond the resume, I want you to kind of think about your strategy. Are you building relationships? Who are you building those relationships with? Um, and understand, right? I'm not just talking about surface level relationships. Um, who are you building professional, deep? Because professional relationships can be deep. I just want you to rethink the way you approach it. Who are you building those relationships with? Beyond that, are you positioning yourself for roles before the role opens? Are you positioning yourself for roles before the role opens? The way to do that is to build relationships with hiring managers, to build relationships with recruiters, to know people, to be intentional about your networking. When you are in the market for an opportunity, like who knows, you're looking. And what I want to caution you against, opening LinkedIn, grabbing your phone, opening your emails, and then firing off a message that says, hey, I'm in the market for an opportunity. Who do you know who's hiring? I see it all the time. Who do you know who's hiring? And I'm like, first of all, I haven't talked to you in 6 years. So let's just pump our brakes for a second. How are you? Right? Like there are things. So my thought process when I'm talking about strategy, when I'm talking about your job search, it's really what relationships are you building? And can those relationships that you've established and nurtured, heavy emphasis on the nurtured, um, lead you to that next opportunity, sometimes before it's posted, ideally before it's posted. You will hear about it. Hiring team will have your resume. Like that, my friends, is ideal. And that is possible. And that is what will separate you from someone who spent $1,000 having their resume updated. Listen, I offer the service to clients. And so like I'm not saying you may not need to pay someone to write your resume. What I am saying is that I want you to think beyond that, right? In terms of a more comprehensive strategy to get to where you need to be. So if you're like, Christina, I'm not going to pay someone to write a resume, there are a couple of things. If you are one who leverages AI. I have a whole custom GPT I've built for individuals to pop the information in and work with Chat GPT. And of course, I have a guide for that for your output to be aligned with the role you're applying for or the roles you're applying for. And we can talk about how many resumes you need because I have thoughts on that. We'll talk about that another day. But here's what I want you to consider. If you're like, Christina, I'm probably not going to get your custom GPT, which of course I'll link below. Christina, I'm probably not going to hire you to write my resume. Just tell me what I need to know. If you are a US based job seeker, and I'm stressing that because there, there are different schools of thought, even within the US, but outside of the US, there are different schools of thought around what needs to be on a resume and what doesn't. I've seen, I wish I could tell you how many resumes I've seen over the past 15 years. Tens of thousands, right? Maybe more. That's just a rough estimate because I've worked on a number of openings. No photo. There's no reason for it. If I'm hiring you for a modeling position, then there's a portfolio, but not your resume. So no photos on your resume, no full mailing address, not necessary. And I think about safety and security. We're not going to send snail mail your way, so get rid of the full mailing address. There's this line that we've used over the years, this whole references available upon request. Well, we know that you're going to provide references if we request them. And so let's get rid of that as well. No more than 15, 20 years of experience on the resume. Here's the thing. And I'm going to pull from a specific example that always comes to mind. I've seen a 5-page resume, and the individual who handed it to me said, it's my kitchen sink resume. And he laughed, and I thought, no, no, we're not doing this because the person we need for this job, yeah, they wouldn't even think of submitting a 5-page resume, right? So brevity, being able to be concise, right? Summing it up and not having us, let's say we're hiring you and you've got us on a Zoom call because you have 75 questions and this is a 30-minute meeting and no one else could talk, right? That 5-page resume tells a lot about you. And so we have to be mindful of that first impression. Your resume is your professional snapshot. It is not designed to tell your entire professional story. 2 pages. If you must go to 3, all right. 1 to 2 pages is sufficient. Like that is it. The other thing I'll say is clear impact, not a task list, right? We want to see success. We want to see that you've done the thing that we are hiring this person to do. So that's something to think about. Listen, I'm not dismissing resumes. Please understand that. And that's why I just ran through this list. I just want to make sure you are right sizing your resume. Let's go with that. You're right sizing your resume. Here's the thing. If you are spending 40 hours perfecting your resume, you are missing out on actual strategic moves that could move you closer to your goal. Please stop trying to perfect the paper. Stop trying to perfect the asset. And if you're not in a space where you can hire someone to perfect it, I want you to focus on becoming known. I want you to spend more energy in building your network and nurturing that network in your industry. And I'll say this, of course, if you need support, if you're like, Christina, I know nothing about networking, or Christina, um, yeah, this sounds great, but I'm not really a people person, then I will pop a resource below for the networking playbook. If you need the support, it's there. If this resonates, my hope is that you will subscribe or follow depending on the platform you are on. My hope is that you will like and share this video. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.